On today's show, we again dig into our archives and go back to 2013 as we take a high horsepower trip down the quarter mile and on the racetrack. First up, we head to Willowbank Raceway on the outskirts of Brisbane as we look back on the highly charged 2013 edition of the ANDRA Santo Super 3 event, featuring the heavy hitters of Top Alcohol and the methanol monsters of Top Alcohol. Then we head to Winton Motor Raceway in northeastern Victoria as we look back on the drama and on-track carnage from an action-filled third round of the 2013 V8 Touring Car Series. This is Speedweek.
Three-time world top fuel champion American Larry Dixon is pumped to lay on the loud pedal here at Willowbank in the Rapasada Fueler, and he knows he has several bites at the cherry, whilst Aussie teammate Damien Harris also makes his debut with the team.
I'm really excited about it because, my first time here racing in Australia against, people and teams that have been doing this for a long period of time. If we don't get things quite right on Friday, we still have an opportunity to win not only on Saturday, but the overall championship trophy for the weekend.
I'm really excited. New weekend over here with the Rapasada team and engine and car and that, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Dixon brings with him a lot of experience, and with everyone wanting the win, the pressure is certainly on. Aussie champ Darren Morgan cares little for reputation though, and he's sticking to his own game plan.
I think the pressure's on them. We beat more Americans than what have beat us, so they've got to get on top of us, I guess. So, no, we're just here. We'll try and get the thing from A to B and do our best.
Look, we'll just take the approach we've always taken. I've got my guys from my previous team, so it'll be the same, so it'll be good.
For Dixon, geography is irrelevant. He wants the win no matter where he is.
It's same as if it was Tony Schumacher or Antron Brown. Just try to get to the finish line first, and doesn't really matter who's in the other lane.
From top fuel to top alcohol, and Wayne Newby is planning on backing up his stirring win at the previous round in Adelaide.
When it all came unstuck. Hopefully it doesn't happen this time. We got a good race on our hands. Wild run for Gary Phillips. Gives it up, and Wayne Newby gets his first win in the funny car.
Oh yeah, pretty excited after winning down at Adelaide, and we've turned the car up a bit this weekend. We'll see what happens. The track should be pretty good tonight. I don't know how good the air is going to be, but we'll check that out shortly. But we'll just see what happens.
Great news for the sport sees lady racer Debbie O'Rourke debut her new funny car after a long wait.
Definitely, I've been waiting a long time for my new body. It's been up in the shed for about 5 years, so yeah, finally we've got it on top of the chassis, and I'm really looking forward to it.
This weekend sees the continuation of the new three-phase competition format, and ANDRA CEO Malcolm Pulley is excited about the Willowbank action.
What we've got this weekend is another trial on the three-round format. We've got top fuel, top alcohol. There'll be some close racing. We've got good fields. I think that people are starting to come in. We're really looking forward to it. And we'll assess it afterwards as well. Same as we did in Perth. We'll get all the fundamentals back and work out how to continue to improve this format and this show. But this is great. There's some huge events going on this weekend. We've got Lee Beard and Larry Dixon here with Santo's crew. Obviously, it's the Louis Rapasada Memorial Trophy. So we're all looking forward to some big things, but a lot of people have got that target on Larry's back, that's for sure. You don't often have a driver of Larry's calibre and Lee Beard's calibre here, so it should be great.
Larry Dixon is Mr. Cool and is hoping to ice the Aussies this weekend.
Oh, we're just going to go out there and try. This is a brand new team. This really just came together for this event maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So, we came over here, flew to Sydney about a week and a half ago, went to Santo's shop, and prepared the car the best we can in that amount of time and come over here. I do realize that we are going up against Australia's best, but we're going to go out there and give it our best effort, and hopefully the first time out we can get it done. As soon as the car starts up, you don't know what country you're in, whether you're United States or Australia. You just go in there, you see the finish line, and you do your best to get there before your opponent. Lee came down over the holidays and struck up a deal with Santo Rapasarda and his two sons, Tino and Santo Jr. And Lee flew back to the States, asked me if I wanted to be a part of this new partnership, and you know, it was very, it sounded like a great program, and I was delighted to be a part of it, and we're starting it up, and here we are.
Larry's not a lone soldier in this assault, bringing the Dixon Army into the battle.
Yeah, it's definitely nice having your family here. My kids are on Easter break from school, so they're really being able to enjoy it without missing anything at home. But no, as soon as the car starts up, you know, anything feel good, it's you forget about it. It's a couple minutes in the race car during competition, and it's almost like a boxer. As soon as they hear the bell, it's time to go dance. I think I'm pretty calm. I think just really pay attention on what needs to be. Don't worry about things that I have no control over. Try and do my job and do it to the best of my ability. Hopefully, I'll be able to take a great experience from this weekend's event.
And here we are at Willowbank Raceway, mercifully under sunny skies. Weather forecast isn't always the best when Willowbank comes into the schedule, but great to have a fat crowd here for the Santos Cranes Extreme 3 weekend. And Rusty Gregory, welcome back to what's going to be an epic day of competition for both top fuel and top alcohol.
It is promising to be one of the best days of racing that we've seen for a long, long time. Let's have a look at the top fuel points after round 5. Phil Lamatuna, courtesy of those 2 wins over in Perth, on top of the points, 418. Darren Morgan in number 2, Mark Sheen in number 3, Alan Dobson, Steve Reed, Damien Harris rounding out the top 6.
Now throw the ultimate wild card into the picture with a 3-time world top fuel champion in Larry Dixon. More on him in a moment as the POM, Steve Reed, finds his way into the fold. Great to have him back, and this is, of course, qualifying. Darren Morgan, we're on board with him now as he backs up the K-Trans Top Fuel Dragster. Good crowd in the house. A great concept too, as always, in memory of Louis Rapasarda, who tragically lost his life at this very venue in 1990. And Santo has never, ever let the memory of Louis go away.
Yeah, it's always a difficult thing for the Santos guys coming back to Willowbank Raceway, but you know, they race for Louis. Every time they pull the car out of the trailer, it's for Louis. You can see it on the back wing, and in fact on the back wing of all the top fuel cars this weekend is in memory of Louis. So that's a nice gesture from the rest of the top fuel teams.
You can just see it in that rear wing right there, the top fuel number 1, the DMR Top Fuel Dragster. As we look at the POM, doesn't run the full schedule. Admittedly, not a low budget, but a no budget team. And the RSR team being brought into stage by Heather, team manager, team owner, team butt kicker, hoping that hubby, the POM, can do the job. Has a remarkable career, both here and in Europe. We'll run through that, hopefully throughout the course of today's competition. So first run for qualifying. Morgan in the K-Trans Dragster, Reed in the largely unsponsored RSR car. Both of them, good start. Morgan in trouble. Reed runs through pretty solidly though.
Yeah, pretty solid. Got off it a little bit early, 490, a good run off the trailer, 419 Ks. He also ate up a little bit of ET out of the start line. He went into deep stage looking at the run there, so not a bad pass, but he's on top for the time being after one run.
Rapasarda Autosports, have a look at that. The international brand is what is the most interesting part of that picture. Larry Dixon, born in Southern California, and there is a man in that red shirt that knows a bit about this sport.
Yeah, just a little bit. Lee Beard, a world champion crew chief in his own right. You would think the Rapasarda guys, they don't just come out here to race. They come out here to win. They want to lay down some solid numbers. They want to get that trophy, and they're actually running this other car that's in the other lane for Damien Harris for the best tractor parts team this weekend.
I love the way that Beardy doesn't even have the headphones on. Been around fuel his whole life, I'm sure. Dixon, as you said, and Harris, as we take a look at your Sid Chrome star profile right now. Larry Dixon, professional racer, a 3-time world champ, career best of a 4:48 at 537 kilometres an hour, has brought the whole family with him. And what a team, what an operation from Santo Rapasarda to run 2 cars. Of course, Damien Harris has brought his team over to work under the banner and the best tractor parts sponsorship as well.
Larry Dixon, one of the most experienced drivers in the world.
Oh my goodness gracious me! What an epic run that was. Dixon somehow pulls off a miraculous 360-degree spin. It has sheared off the left rear wheel and he is driven out of that.
Wow. Wow, that is 20 years of top fuel driving experience right there. Larry Dixon, keep your eye on the right-hand lane. It was a good thing in this case that Damien Harris had those engine problems. That is a phenomenal save by Larry Dixon. He even caught the engine before the revs went up. You can see the parachute still in the parachute pack. The auto-deploy system did not come out until he triggered it. That is a phenomenal drive job from Larry Dixon.
On board, my goodness. That is just a freakish incident. Look at the wheel careering down the racetrack. Man, Dixon's had some incredible moments in his career. I doubt that many have got his attention like that one just did.
He even had the presence of mind to get it back into his own lane after the incident. That is just incredible for Larry Dixon. That is one of the strangest things I have seen in over 25 years of watching drag racing. Out of the car, safe as you like it, and just wondering, what the hell happened?
Remarkable that you should see an engine blow like Harris's be overshadowed by something else, as we see Phil Lamatina rolling out for his qualifying run in that Fuchs Elders entry. Lammy in very good touch. His confidence is sky high after a stout result in Western Australia where he clean swept both rounds over there.
It's been a bit of a turnaround. They have been struggling in the earlier rounds of the championship, but they got to Perth and the thing was loaded for bear. They came out and absolutely owned it. One night, 1 and 2 over in Perth at the last round of the championship, the last 2 rounds of the championship, I should say. Aaron Hambridge, a crew chief on this car, really starting to get a handle on top fuel.
Great crowd in the house for the Santos Cranes Extreme 3 in memory of Louis. Epic weekend. I love the flamethrowers that they have when the guys cross the finish line as well. A lot of very cool rock star stuff involved in this program. See what Lammy can come up with. Oh, shuts it down early and there's flame.
Yeah, it looked like it might have just lifted the blower a little bit there. It went up in smoke pretty quickly, and got to be honest, the track conditions look fairly challenging out there at the moment. Crosses the line with a 13.18 at 39 kilometres an hour. Obviously not a representative pass, but he will be back.
Sid Chrome ladder sees the Pom. Steve Reed with that solid 490 and a 6. The only one remotely in the 4s. Morgan, Dixon, Harris and Lamatina with their own issues. That's your qualifying thanks to Sid Chrome at the Santos Cranes Extreme 3.
To the pit report now, and Larry Dixon joins me. You're a debutant in Australia and you've opened your account with a manoeuvre we've not seen before. Let us know what happened.
Yeah, just leave it to the Americans to come up with a move like that. No, it just, the car went out there and it launched fairly well, and it actually broke an axle, and so it lost one of the tires, and when it did that, all the power, and the engines make 10,000 horsepower, all drove to the other wheel, and it drove the car into a spin like that. And so you lift off the throttle, try and get the car back squared up again, and down the racetrack, get it stopped, and kept it off the wall, which is big, so that'll still give us the opportunity to try and repair the car and get back out there later this evening.
If Damien hadn't have had the hiccups he's had, there could have been a really horrible collision.
Yeah, it could have been, but I mean, I think, some of that stuff you wonder why it didn't or whatever like that, that's the Lord working. So you just, I thank him for taking care of both of us on that run, and we're going to be back out there to battle more later on this evening.
I think he's got ice water running through his veins, Larry Dixon. He's pretty calm about it. Not sure how calm Mrs. Dixon might have been at that critical moment. Massive moon over the top of top fuel for Santos Cranes. In memory of Louis Raposada, Steve Reed, a man who has a very personal connection to Santos Raposada. He drove for them for about 11 years.
Yeah, he did. He won national championships with them, got his first ride in top fuel. I think it was way back in 1995 in the ex-McDonald's car that was driven by Ed McCulloch. Ran 298 miles per hour at Eastern Creek, the old track from what I remember. So he goes back a long way with Santo Raposada and that whole team.
Best ET of his career is a 468 with a 7 at Sydney Dragway back in 2009. Just goes to show you how tough this category is to run solid numbers. He'll kill you with consistency, the Pom. You won't ever see him run anything too lethal like 4.6s. Generally, he'll run, as you said, 4.8s, 4.9s all day if he gives you the chance.
Yeah, it's all about consistency with Steve. It's that he doesn't generally have the latest parts and the greatest parts, and he doesn't have a lot of it. But what he does have, he really makes do. And he really makes it work. In fact, I've even heard of him reusing spark plugs out of these cars, which is absolutely unheard of from any other team.
Well, he has a 20-year-old motor combination. He'll quite honestly tell you he calls it the dinosaur combination, but he does well with what he has, as you said. Compared to this, which is, in Australian terms, state-of-the-art. The Lamatinas, they don't spare any expense whatsoever. Fat crowd in the house here at Willowbank. Great to have fuel back here for this very cool event. What a wonderful gesture by the Rapasadas, not only to get so heavily involved, but to field 2 cars here as well.
It is an absolutely huge effort. Just putting one of these cars on the track is an epic effort, but putting 2 is just incredible. As we're set to go racing, the visor comes down for the Pom.
Very good light for Reed, an 07 light. Lamatina in the right-hand lane has issues. A lot of fuel hosing out of that Pommy Steve Reed car at the end. Still runs a 495. Lamatina's 7.3, obviously issues for the Sunraysia rocket.
Yeah, I would suggest that Steve Reed would have thrown a blower belt at the finish line. That would explain all the fuel, but that was a weird one for Lamatina. There was really no header flames to speak of at the start. The car jumped. It was almost like he double-stepped the throttle, but he gets it to the finish line, just not quick enough to get around the Pom, who is Mr. Consistency this weekend.
Steve Reed, 40 minutes later, you are through. Home advantage is yours, but it hasn't been easy.
No, I think I've leaked out about 7 pounds on that run. That was a real good pass. We lost the blowout at the top end about 1,000 foot, so I don't know what time it won, but we won. That's the main thing.
He was inducted into the British Drag Racing Hall of Fame back in 2008. He has a remarkable international career in both top fuel and top alcohols. We see Darren Morgan lost in his own thoughts. I love those shots when you get inside a helmet as someone contemplating unleashing 8,000 horsepower.
Well, one thing that they do when they first fire these cars up, and you could see his eyes looking down at the dash, he would be trimming the fuel pressure. You can actually adjust how far the fuel pump's on, and you'd be adjusting the fuel pressure for the burnout. There's a lot more that goes on in these cars than just jumping in and stabbing the throttle. It's not an easy process.
Great concept with Willowbank here in Rapasadas, providing a bit of rock star entrance stuff, some flashing coloured lights and some bursting flame afterburner sort of shots at the end of the run as well. They're really rocking the houses here as Morgan backs up the K-Trans entry. His wife Natalie celebrates her birthday this weekend, and Darren's grandmother is in the stands. She's 90 plus years of age. She's never seen Darren run. I just hope Natalie is holding onto her hands, because until you have been there and felt one of these things leave the line, imagine being 90 plus and having your first fuel experience.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome. I think there's quite a few first-timers up there in the stands. A huge crowd in the house here at Willowbank this weekend.
Probably not 90 years of age, though.
No, there wouldn't be too many that are 90 years of age, but hey, we take anyone. We don't discriminate in drag racing. We are just about set to go racing here. It is Damien Harris in this lane. We haven't spoken much about him. One of the guys who has very experienced in nitro funny car and top fuel drags. He's driven in the NHRA. He is an Australian, but he's only making his first start this weekend under the Santo's Cranes banner.
So waiting for a launch. This to decide who goes into the final to face the Pom, who's oozing consistency. Great shot then as Morgan brings the K-Trans dragster in. The BTP mining equipment, parts, rentals and sales entry of Damien Harris. Oh, huge eruption.
Wow. That was a huge fireball for Damien Harris. Darren Morgan, a good run, 487. A little bit of flame out of the car, but nothing compared to Damien Harris. That thing is still toasting on its way down the braking area.
We could have saved the Rapasada Willowbank guys the afterburner flashes at the end. That was a massive fire. As you said, good consistent run for Morgan. Quickest of the weekend so far for those guys, but wow. Just a huge, huge inferno. One more look at it from on board. Oh, goodness, here we go. Thank goodness they don't have those engines mounted in the front like they used to in the old days. Summer's at the deep end.
Darren Morgan, you're through first hurdle done, and the pressure really was on, even though we felt cool earlier today.
Yeah, I didn't feel no pressure, mate. As I say, we're just happy to be out here, so making laps, so we calmed the thing right down. Haven't had any qualifiers for the longest time, and we can't afford to test. So that was good. It went from A to B. I think I clicked it a little early. The screen fogged up because of the humidity, and I seen Damo's thing catch on fire early, so I knew he wasn't there, but the boys needed the data, so I kept it going for as long as I thought was safe. But the engine's clean, and we're ready to go again, so...
Billy animated Darren Morgan pretty happy at the deep end there with Summer.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got every reason to be. He is through to the final. He will take on the Pom, Steve Reed, in the final round. That's your Sid Chrome ladder. We'll go down to Summer in the pits for a Sid Chrome pit report.
To the pit report now. Steve Reed joins me, 495. The supercharger belt was gone, but you've still got plenty in there, haven't you?
I think that would have been a low 470 pass, a 71, 72 or something pass. So, yeah, we're pretty confident.
Now, you've done a lot with a little in your career. Can you tell us a bit about that? What is it that makes Steve Reid so good?
I hate losing. I really hate losing. I mean, ever since I found out, I started drag racing when I was 16 years old and found out I was really good at it. It was something I was really good at. Played a lot of sports at school and I was good at that. So that transferred on to drag racing and I won, I think it's about 27 championships we won now all over the world, all over Europe, all in America and Australia.
And a word on Darren Morgan? You're up against him.
Oh, Darren and I, 1 year, I think it was the first year he raced, we raced every single final for every round of the championship, and I could write a book on how to lose, and we don't aim to do it this time.
We'll take a quick break, and when we come back to Willowbank for the Santo's Grains Extreme 3, it's top alcohol time. It's starting to get hot in the kitchen here at the bank. Stephen Ham has made some significant modifications to his brand new funny car. This will be his first weekend running it.
The body's new, the chassis is new, the combination in the car's all the same, so now we've just got to figure out how to make it all work again now. If we can figure out on the first one to make it soft enough to go from A to B, then we can start building on it because we'll know where to go again. The whole drive line is still the same. It's basically just the chassis, where the weight is, and the new body that's changed. Hopefully it's going to react like the old car did and we'll be able to build on that straight away. The new body's definitely a lot more aerodynamic, so combine the power that we were making last season with the new aero body, I think we'll see some faster times out of what we were doing. I don't know about this meeting. I don't know if the weather's going to be good enough to go super fast. The track we tested 2 weeks ago and the track was very hot and we struggled, so it's a lot cooler today, so hopefully we can go back to actually where we were and build on that again. We're just hoping that we hit the ground running on the first pass, and if we can keep building on that, then that should get us to the finals, I'm hoping, and then tomorrow should happen a bit easier as long as we've got no engine dramas or anything. And the double header points, because we've missed two rounds of the championship being Adelaide and Perth, we're going to try and use this to bolster our points to have a crack. We don't do any testing. That's probably half our problem. We tested the other day only because it was a new vehicle, but usually we don't test prior to any of the major rounds, so we just try and go from championship round to championship round and build on the knowledge that we had before and try and adapt to the conditions. We work pretty good under the pump. I suppose we work better under pressure, so if we're too laxy-daisy, things get overlooked. So our judgment call's already made here on the weather conditions that we're seeing now, so hopefully that's going to be slightly softer than what the track will want anyway, and that should let us get down there.
Let's hope it goes well for Steve Ham. It's a spectacular looking car, and it's always good to see new equipment as we take a good look at this fat crowd here at Willowbank Raceway, part of the Santo Grains Extreme 3 weekend. Here's the points for top alcohol after 2 rounds, and well, Mr. Top Alcoholic Gary Phillips sits on top, but look at that battle with Rob Pilkington, Steve Reid, John Cannulli for second spot.
Yeah, it is very, very tight. Only 9 points separating the top 4 cars in top alcohol. Looking at qualifying now, we have got 2 brand new funny cars on the deck for the first pass here. It is Darren Fry in this gorgeous looking Monte Carlo Daz's Steel Fabrication supported car, taking on Debbie O'Rourke over in the O'Rourke Motorsports Monte Carlo.
Isn't it great to see Debbie finally on track? She's been waiting a long time, something like 5 years they've had the car and haven't been able to put a body on it. So great to see, as you said, 2 spectacular looking funny cars on the line for qualifying here at Willowbank Raceway.
Yeah, Darren Fry with some very, very good help this weekend. He has had Jamie Noonan as well as Mark Brew, of course, crew chief for Top Door Slammer racer Peter Kapiris on board. So he's got some knowledge in his bank and goes 575, 405 kilometres per hour. That is a great run off the trailer.
Problems for O'Rourke, and of course Mark Brew, a fairly handy steerer himself. As we take a look at our next qualifying result, Wayne Price in the Baker's Delight entry. Price saying at the start of the weekend this is going to be a very tough round for top alcohol. This thing is immaculate. I love the way he goes about his racing. The Aeroflow Performance Products City Finance Loans and Cash Solutions entry. And let's face it, if Graham Cowan sponsors you, you have to have all your ducks in a line.
Absolutely. Rick has really been creeping up on this car over the last few years. He started out running an older style funny car. It had an older generation Pontiac body on it, but he's really stepped up with the new Mustang this weekend, and it looks absolutely fantastic, and that guy is going to be one of the real threats in Top Alcohol this weekend.
So Price and Gorsey, beautiful conditions for drag racing, great crowd in the house, boys stepping it up for qualifying.
You've got to love the RPMs on board. Very close to the centre line for Rick Gorsey, but he rolls it through for a 6004. Wayne Price, a 589.
As we take a look at the man who won the second round at Adelaide International Raceway, Wayne Newby, in the JBS Tools funny car. Of course, a couple of seasons ago, they had to really step the program up for this funny car. They're always going to go funny car at some time in their career, but it got stepped up with that big crash when he lost the dragster.
Yeah, they were really forced into it, but he seems to be not struggling too much with it. Now, keep in mind, it's still a new combination for them. One guy who has been running funny cars for quite a few years now is Gary Phillips, and he's a hard guy to get around. He is a 15-time national champion. What more can you say about him? He's a national record holder. He's got speed records. He's raced in all across the world. He is just one of the toughest guys when it comes to alcohol racing.
Was always lethal in a dragster before he too went funny car. Oh, trouble for Phillips off the line, and Newby too. Both the guys having a bit of a pedal, and this ends up being a non-event for both guys, unfortunately. So both of them Australian champions in this category, one significantly more than the other, but one's been around a bit longer as well.
So Gary, was qualifying everything you wanted it to be?
Not. It smoked the tyres pretty good on the hit because we were sitting up there for so long, but hey, everyone's in the same boat by the look of it.
Yes, dead right. Everyone at the moment is struggling, as we see John Cannulli, who's had a pretty busy time of it across Australia. Of course, he went into the deep end in a big way in his door slammer car in Western Australia just recently.
Yeah, he did. Got out of it unscathed. Fortunately, the car can't say the same for the car. Unfortunately, it suffered some pretty significant damage. Steve Reed, on the other hand, he has been on an absolute tear with this All-Star Batteries Pontiac funny car. And doesn't it look brilliant under the lights here at Willowbank? Just looks phenomenal.
Bit of a different approach to his racing. Wife Debbie leaving his side at the last minute, as she so often does. I love this sport, the way that the wives are so heavily involved in the sport. Of course, John Cannulli's wife takes it one step further. She's often out there in pro stock racing. Good side-by-side competition. Looks like Reed's got a good run going.
Indeed, he does. Straight down the centre. He's very experienced here at Willowbank, and it shows. 581, 396 kilometres per hour. Cannulli hugging the centre line with a 657.
Steve, now it wasn't a perfect pass, but recovery was really the high point.
Yeah, it shook the tyres, so had a pedal. Probably shifted in high gear too early, but we managed to salvage the run, so it wouldn't have been too bad. So now we can go back and have a look at the data and hot it up for the next round.
Yeah, hot it up, plays the conservative game wherever it's possible. He too runs on a budget, like so many drag racers do. Have a look at the war paint on the John Sting Redline Oils dragster.
Yeah, John Sting. This is the way the car was actually run over in the United States. He's left exactly the same. And this car can run deep into the 550s. He is up against Steve Ham with that brand new Mustang funny car. This is an absolute stunner of a car.
I just love the way everyone has so much pride in their race equipment. That's something that drag racers are absolutely renowned for. You can see intense concentration on Ham's face as he gets set to line up alongside one of the guys with the coolest name in motor racing, John Sting. Both of them leave pretty nicely. Sting has problems in the dragster, shuts it down early. Ham runs pretty solid though. Let's have a look at the numbers here. 566 with a 3, just a lick under 400 k's an hour on debut. He'll take that.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want, and funnily enough, it gets him the #1 qualifying spot heading into the elimination round. 566. Darren Fry on debut. 575. Steve Reed, Wayne Price, Rick Gorsey, John Cannulli, Gary Phillips, John Sting in the lone dragster rounding out the field.
So a dream debut under a fierce burning moon over the top of this grandstand as the Willowbank fans kick back and enjoy the prospect of some fantastic top alcohol elimination action, all part of this Santos Cranes Extreme 3 weekend. I do love the rockstar lights they got going. Flames down the other end, fortunately not coming off motors, working off these afterburner torches that they have down the end. So a really good rock concert style vibe to this event. Maybe this is the future of presenting drag racing live.
Very well could be. Looking at the cars that we've got on the track, though, it is Wayne Newby in the JBS Tools funny car taking on Darren Fry. Now, Wayne Newby, we know he's a multi-time national champion in top alcohol. Still getting a handle on the funny car, but doing a good job of it. Darren Fry, on the other hand, this is his first start in top alcohol. He is a former Supercharged Outlaws racer and has raced Super Street as well, but it is a big, big jump going from a Supercharged Outlaws car to an alcohol funny car. It is night and day.
Coming up against a former Australian champion in Wayne Newby, who's coming into it with plenty of confidence. A red light in the left-hand lane. So Fry runs it through. Let's have a look at his numbers here. A 580 with a 7. Newby with issues. Red lights, you very rarely see Newby do that. Massive tyre shake for him.
Huge tyre shake for Wayne Newby. He would have a bit of a headache after that one. Darren Fry, though, you cannot complain about that. Straight down the centre, hits all the shift points. That's what you want to see.
Darren Fry, you are through. First hurdle done. Tell us about how it went for you.
Yeah, it's a good run. Listen, the only person I can thank for this is the crew and 2 other major people, Mark Brew and Jamie Noonan and my wife. It's 3, sorry. Without them 3, this would not be happening. It's big crew effort for the whole lot.
Yeah, Summer right in the thick of it, that's for sure. Good crowd here. They love their drag racing in Queensland. That is an awfully small steering wheel for so much horsepower, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Oh, very out of shape burnout for Steve Ham. That's an unusual one. We'll take a look at Debbie O'Rourke now as we have a look at your Sid Chrome profile. Top alcohol funny car she is driving this weekend, a brand new car. She's a management consultant by day, but a drag racer on the weekends. Personal best of a 567 at 253 miles per hour. And originally from England, so another expat over here in the ANDRA series.
And hubby West Aussie Grant O'Rourke has had some spectacular moments in this career. Certainly his once very cool Monaro used to raise some heads. That's always an interesting shot, isn't it? When you see the bodywork come up, it looks like it works the other way around. The guy's just checking that this motor is good to go. The ECL Racing Mobile 1 entry of Steve Ham.
Very unusual to see them lift the body on an alcohol funny car before they go into stage. You see it in fuel cars because they need to switch on all the clutch timers. In these cars, you've got a pedal clutch and a gearbox, so very unusual. But we'll have a look at it. Oh, both cars really struggling with tyre shake there. It's a pedal fest to the finish line. Remember, only the 2 quickest winners go through to the A final, so they really want to get a number on the board. And it looks like Steve Ham gets the win there, a 7.56. Debbie O'Rourke just could not get that thing to hook up.
Man, big tyre shake issues for both these guys, and Ham realising, as you just said, I got to get on this. I can't just coast through. You have no idea where Debbie O'Rourke was. Massive tyre shake for Debbie, and Ham survives.
Steve, 760, a messy pass, quite the different from the beginning.
That's right.
What went wrong?
Well, it left and probably went out about a second and then just smoked the tyres then, so then it was just pedal, give up. So we got the win. I don't know how, because I was thinking I better get back on it now because I didn't see it come.
Well, time to compose. All the best.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Seems a bit rattled, doesn't he, Hammy? A bit out of breath. Certainly it's a physically violent experience in any drag car at this level, as we see the All-Star Batteries Royal Wolf funny car coming into line. Debbie Reid calling hubby Steve into line. A little bit of spray on the blower.
And Debbie Reid, a very experienced racer in her own right, came within a red light of winning the Top Alcohol Championship a few years ago. So I think that one's going to live on with that family for a long, long time. But Steve is a multi-time national champion in top alcohol on the solo pass here, but he still needs to get it to the finish line. Again, a lot of tyre shake on board for this car, and well, it should be enough to get him through, I think. It is a 6:35, 379 kilometres per hour, and that will take him through, hopefully, to the final round.
Not a pretty run by any stretch of the imagination. Plenty of experience behind the wheel for Steve Reid to muscle that thing through. So it's been an epic day of competition so far in day one of this Santos Cranes Extreme 3 drag race weekend. 2 days of competition here over the Easter weekend at Willowbank as we go on board with Gary Phillips, the slowest you'll see him travel all weekend, as wife Debbie waits for him to come back.
And of course, son Shane doing the backup duties behind, directing the car into position. He'll be taking on Wayne Price, who has really stepped up in top alcohol this season. He's been running towards the middle to the top of the field, been running some very, very solid 570s and 560s So if he can lay down a number here, it's going to be a tough one for Gary Phillips to get around.
And this is Gary Phillips' home turf as well. And what, 15 national championships, has been around a while, does know how to get from one end of this 400-metre quarter mile better than anybody around this place. He owns this joint when it comes to top alcohol.
The crew member just sprays the butterflies there just to make sure they don't freeze up. These cars suck a lot of air through those engines, especially when they're bringing the revs up to around 5,500 RPM on the launch. Whole shot for Wayne Price there. Phillips way over the centre line, gets right up close to Wayne Price, and fortunately there's no contact, but Price of 595 at 356. I'm not even sure that he knew Phillips was coming over at him.
Man, that could have been a huge, huge wreck, couldn't it? Price ran pretty good right from the start. You can just see hands on hips. Wow, did you see Debbie Phillips react when she saw husband Gary heading towards the centre line just then? Have a look at the line through the middle. He's way over it. Could have tagged the quarter panel. Good luck, Price. He got through. Ooh, that was close.
Gary, we don't know the results yet. Looks like a red light from Wayne and yourself maybe on the centre line.
Yeah, I crossed the centre line. It's, he red lit and it was there for the taking, and the track's just not there. So, it shook and went across the centre line, so too bad for me.
So worse off for you?
Oh, yeah. Crossing the centre line's worse than red lighting. So, for Lucas Oil Products, we'll try again tomorrow.
Well, we're getting set for Cannuli now to come out on that Crossroads Racing entry. He spoke earlier of his minor hiccup, to say the very least, at Western Australia for the Motorplex, where the door slammer went way, way, way deep. And, of course, they had their other car, unfortunately, destroyed by a good mate in Portland. So it's been a tough weekend. In fact, a couple of tough weekends for this family.
Yeah, I think they'd be hoping just to go home with the car in one piece and everything's still intact. And fingers crossed it can be that result for them. But he's got a tough ask here going up against Rick Gorsey in the Aeroflow funny car. And Rick getting some valued assistance from Stu Rowland this weekend, which is an interesting little thing because his son James is actually working on Steve Ham's funny car. That's going to be an interesting one if they ever match up over the weekend.
A lot of cross-pollination going on in drag racing, let's face it. It's a skilled industry, and you need to keep people that have experience in the game. And you often see people working for different teams as we wait for both guys to come into stage here. Final of the eliminations for this first round for top alcohol. Cannuli, very good light, a .04 against a .06. Will Gorsey get there? Yes, he does. The Aeroflow car sneaks through a 581 with a 1, 368, nothing in it at all in K's an hour, nothing in it really in ET either.
Yeah, great side-by-side race, and both guys very, very sharp off the line. You can see Rick Gorsey had to do a little bit of driving there. The car was moving around on it in the middle of the run, but he still gets the win. And fortunately for Cannuli, the car's still in one piece. That's a bonus for him at this point in time.
So let's take a look at your Sid Chrome race ladder, and you can see that Gorsey and Fry will square off in the final. Going to be an epic one for top Alky fans.
Pit report now, and Rick Gorsey joins me, and you've been slowly creeping up on the new tune. Tell us about it.
We have been, actually. We've put a new tune in this over the last couple of meetings, and it's slowly coming together now, but it's starting to be consistent, which is really good.
Fairly confident that you've got the setup then for the final?
Yeah, we're crashing now. We've got a bit of work to do because we just hurt the pulley belt and or the blower belt, which has got stuck behind the pulley, so we've got to do a bit of work on that. But we're confident we might go all right.
But look, you're smiling. Is most of the team pretty relaxed and jovial doing this, or are you feeling the pressure?
I've been feeling the pressure all week, trust me.
Plenty of sweat on that brow, that's for sure, and there'll be more after the break with Top Alcohol and Top Fuel finals coming up in a moment. Well, it's time now for the consolation final here for Top Alcohol. Fans certainly enjoying their drag racing here at Willowbank, and the weather has been kind, which is good news indeed. This is your Sid Chrome race ladder. This is how we get to this point right now, and you'll see Steve Reed up against Wayne Price, and the final lurking very shortly. Gorsey having a good run, and Fry, what a job from Fry this weekend.
It is a phenomenal effort. He's come in as a number 2 qualifier, which in itself is very impressive. But to go to the final, well, hey, we'll see that one coming up in a minute. But we have got Steve Reed in the All-Star Batteries funny car coming through now. He is going to be taking on Wayne Price in this round. And how these guys got here, well, basically to get to the final, you need to be one of the 4 quickest winners from the first round, from the elimination round of racing. These guys were the 3rd and 4th quickest winners, so they are into the consolation final. And this is still for championship points here.
And we've still got one more round of competition here this weekend. This is only day/night 1. Interesting concept, and the 3-phase competition round, the way that it works. As we see Steve Reed coming back, and then All-Star Batteries entry. Just let a bit of the smoke out right near Gasoline Alley. Good crowd still here enjoying what has been a long day of competition on the Easter weekend at Willowbank. And hasn't there been some remarkable drag racing moments at this facility?
Oh, there have over the years. I mean, it's very difficult to even know where to start with the history that is on this quarter mile. Of course, they celebrated their 25 years of operation in the not too distant past, actually. And, well, I think they're looking forward to another 25 years plus of making more history in Australian drag racing.
So getting set for this consolation final, there is Price. Sans any real corporate sponsorship as such. Plenty of cool flames airbrushed up the side. But the man who always has chased and done a good job with corporate support right alongside him. And Reed coming in nice and early, putting the move on the Baker's Delight car to get in there and get Bacon quick.
Yeah, it's an interesting staging process for these cars because they bring it into pre-stage and you'll hear them clear out the engine and then they'll bring the revs up to around 5,500 to 6,000 RPM, and that is the point at which they drop the clutch. As soon as they see the orange light come on, they drop that clutch and we are on for racing.
Here we go. The eye candy graphics on the side of Price's car. The boys set to go at it. Conti final. Nothing in it at the lights. Looks side by side at the moment. Oh, man. I thought for a minute there Price had him, but Reed runs through a 589. That's solid, considering it wasn't a pretty run.
It wasn't a pretty run. He had to give it a pedal, but it was a good run in the end. The interesting thing, he got very, very close to the centre line at the top end of the racetrack. Not sure if he got over it or not, but he certainly, the air disturbed one of the timing blocks there and just rolled it off its beams. You can see how violent these cars are in the braking area, really bouncing and moving around a lot. This is going to be another good shot. This will tell us how close he got to that centre line. I don't think he got it. I think it was just the air disturbance that moved that timing block.
That was close, though. No doubt about it. Reed wins the consolation final. Good job.
Steve Reed, well done. 589 coming in at 3rd place.
Yeah, 3rd, I guess, is better than 4th or 5th. But, yeah, no, it still didn't behave itself. So we've still got a bit of work to do for tomorrow to try and sort out a combo that'll be fast. So we'll give it another shot.
Wayne, commiserations. You didn't get there in the end, though, but you started well. Didn't quite follow through.
Yeah, it took off like a rocket, but I think we blew the burst panels out about half track, so lost power. So that's racing.
Well, I don't think you can be too disappointed from that Conti run. The car was good early.
Yeah, it was fairly clean to the half-track mark. Then just a little bit of tyre shake knocked him out of it. But this is the big one. This is the main final round, the A final, so to speak. And we have got Rick Gorsey taking on Darren Fry, who in his first ever event in top alcohol has qualified 2nd and made the final round. A phenomenal effort.
Remember how you said how tough it was to come straight out of Supercharged Outlaws into this category and do very well? Well, he's effectively done that. He hasn't made a liar of you. He's just accepted the challenge. Got to say, too, Stephen Ham did an excellent job on debut as well with that car. So there's been some really heartening signs for this category that we're going to have some new stars in the ranks.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to see guys like Darren Fry coming in and racing competitively in top alcohol in his first start. Doesn't mean that it's easy, but if you get the right parts, the right people behind you, it does make it a hell of a lot easier.
So here we go, final in this round. There's one more round to come this weekend here at Willowbank Raceway, part of a really cool new concept, the Santos Cranes Extreme 3 weekend in memory of Louis Raposada, and a big celebration of drag racing too. These two Group 1 categories putting on a fine show. A lot of rock star theatrics and lighting, plus some big afterburner canisters. You can just see Chad Nailon standing in the background as Rick Gorsey prepares the Aeroflow Performance Products funny car. Man, look at the fuel coming out of that thing.
Yeah, a lot of raw fuel coming out of them. That's the thing about alcohol cars. They tend to run very, very rich until you bring the RPM up. When they bring the RPM up, they really clear themselves out. They clear the throats and they get ready to race.
So here we go. Good little matchup right now. Both these guys thrilled to be here. The Dazza Steel Fabrications entry closest to camera. What a wild looking colour scheme on that. and the corporate support of Rocket Industries through Aeroflow in Gorsey's corner. Waiting for the boys to come in and lock in. Daz brings it in, Gorsey with him. Slow light for Fry. Gorsey straps the whole shot on. What a run for Fry. Hello, on debut of 567 with a 7. Good night, 408 k's an hour.
That is massive. Darren Fry gets the win in his first ever event, and he had to drive around in Gorsey with the whole shot there. Drove around the outside of the Aeroflow funny car and to the winner's circle.
What a great result for Fry. He flies at the bank.
Darren, congratulations, 567, and you set the intention early days with your qualifying.
Yeah, we certainly did. We've got NRE power on board, Jamie Noonan, Mark Brew helping out tuning the screws on this thing. My best crew I've ever had with Josh, Jared, Brian, Maddie, and my beautiful wife Selena, my 2 boys. Couldn't ask for a better day, I tell you.
Rick, commiserations runner-up, but fantastic ET time because it was yours. It was just then the shaking of the tyres that let you down.
Yeah, I didn't see him at all. Even after I shook, I wasn't even sure if the car was straight still, and sort of had to stay off it a bit longer than I wanted to. But nah, the car's coming along really well. It's really good. I'm happy with it.
It's not the win, and you do feel disappointed, obviously, but how happy are you with today's efforts?
Really happy. We've thrashed all day. We've thrashed on this car, and yeah, it's showing good results. And just to be in the final, one thing, but to actually know the car's running good is another.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle tomorrow, isn't it? The second round of competition. Gary Phillips has a narrow 17-point buffer over Steve Reed. Cannuli, Newby and Price all battling for that third position. Ham, Pilkington and John Sting. Disappointing weekend for Sting so far. Let's hope he can turn that around as we look at your Chrome low ETs, Rusty.
And Gary Phillips still number 1 with that 549. Steve Ham, Phillips, Glasby, Pilkington, Glasby and Steve Ham rounding out your top 8. That's your Chrome low ET ladder.
Time to get Top Fuel final underway here very shortly. Some last-minute track clearing from the Willowbank Raceway team, who are so very, very experienced at Top Fuel competition. The Winter Nationals is an event you must get to. I'm really impressed with this Santos Cranes Extreme 3 concept as well. Plenty of rock star feel about it. Consolation final is not going to happen. Lamartina and Harris both with significant issues and trying to get back on track for tomorrow. But it does give us a very nice little battle between the consistency of the Pom, Steve Reed, and Darren Morgan, who's also known for not chasing big numbers, just trying to kill you with consistency.
Promises to be a great final round, this, to be honest. Conditions are pretty good at the moment. You can see all the crew members still wearing short sleeves. Still fairly warm outside, but conditions pretty good for Top Fuel racing here. I'd be expecting to see some good 4-second runs.
Benny, crew chief there, just working with the car, recently celebrating quite an accomplishment in his technical college side of things down in Melbourne. As we get set now, the boys roll out the K-Trans dragster. Reed is just in really good touch. It's remarkable, the name Reed, isn't it? In 3 different forms, it's successful, has been for many years, in 2 different categories, spelt 2 different ways and not related in any way.
Not related in any way, shape or form. We've seen 2 Reeds running in Top Fuel. We've seen Jim and Steve Reed running in Top Alcohol as well. And plus Phil. And plus we also used to see the Pom, Steve Reed, the guy we see in Top Fuel now, who used to run in Top Alcohol. So it is a very pedigreed name, so to speak. But Darren Morgan racing for K-Trans again this weekend, and he's laid down one solid run, went into the 480s, but he'd really like to set that up here and get the win.
Well, he's been the quickest so far out of anybody. Reed has run those 4.9s. Morgs has come in with the 4.8, but you just cannot afford to put a foot wrong with Steve Reed alongside you. The Reed Speed Racing team, the little team that could, that is for sure. What an amazing record this guy has.
Could you imagine what these guys could do if they could just get a sponsor on board? And the same goes for Darren Morgan. Of course, K-Trans on board helping him out this weekend. But could you imagine if Darren Morgan managed to get a big sponsor as well? These guys would go from leaps and bounds, and they would be laying down some really, really good numbers.
And I know in particular for Morgan, it's just a 24-hour-a-day assault on the corporate world to try and get somebody involved in what he's doing. Reed, a 2-time Aussie Top Fuel champ, a 2-time Aussie Top Alcohol champ. Morgan, a 3-time Australian Top Fuel champion. And here we go.
Pretty even off the start line, but the whole shot with the Pom, and the Pom, it looked like he might have hung something out of the engine there, but a 4.800. That's a new low ET for the event so far, 441 kilometres an hour. The scary thing is he still hasn't run it all the way to the finish line under power yet, and that thing is still in the 4-second zone.
You can see a very, very happy smile on Heather Reid's face just then. She ties back the hair. They wanted to do that at Western Sydney late last year. She made the bold prediction they were going to come out. She'd cleared the space in the cabinet for the trophy and everything. Well, tonight, she can finally put that trophy in that spot she cleared for it.
Yeah, very healthy header flames up until just before the 1,000 foot, and you could see a big flash of flame out from around the bottom right-hand side of the engine. As we look at the back of the car here, you can just see a little hint of it there, but a 4.80 gets the win. One more replay here. Darren Morgan, just big problems from the outset. Lots of raw fuel out of the pipes, and Steve Reid on his way to the winner's circle.
Darren, commiserations. The engine quit on you by about halfway down the track, and that is not what you want here, but what a day all the same.
Oh, yeah, it was good. I'm just a bit confused of what's going on with this engine because it just shut off. So I thought the belt was off it because, you know, it just quit. And I don't know, everything looks like it's perfect, but it don't run.
Steve Reid, Easter Friday winner. Some would say home advantage, some would say the perfect setup, but it's hard to knock your conviction.
Oh, look, I mean, we came here pretty confident all weekend, and the car's running good. I mean, we've had a few little dramas that we've got over, but apart from that, no, I mean, just I've been cutting good lights. We've changed the angle of the seating, which has helped me a lot. It was very much a lay-down car before that. As you can see, we got padding in there now, and it's just made a whole world of difference to me.
But would it be fair to say that you just wanted this race?
Oh, it's been a long time between drinks. You know, we qualified #1 at the Nationals, as you know, and through a mistake of ours, I mean, we put the wrong pulley on the bottom and dropped a cylinder, locked up the clutch and smoked the tyres. So this is rough justice, yeah. No, I feel we deserve it.
What a great result for this team. Tremendous. Have a look at the shake-up in the points right now. You can just see that Darren Morgan inches closer to Lamartina. The Pom emerges as a clear third place in that championship after round 6. Bearing in mind we have one more round to run here at Willowbank. Low ETs thanks to Sigrome and Lamartina. Reid bobs up with that 469 because he had that last year late in this season. Lamartina, Morgan, Harris, Morgan. Good old Alan Dobson locked in that top 8 with a 478 with a 2. That wraps us up from day 1 of the Santos Cranes Extreme 3 drag race weekend at Willowbank Raceway. But the good news is, rusty old son, we got one more day to go.
Indeed, we are only halfway there. We've got day 1 in the books. Some surprise winners in Top Alcohol and Top Fuel today. But the whole day 2 of racing coming at you next time with Top Alcohol and Top Fuel.
Coming up after the break, we look back on the drama-packed third round of the 2013 V8 Touring Car Series from Winton Motor Raceway.